You see pigeons everywhere, in markets, squares, rooftops, and every busy street. But in all those crowds, one thing is strangely missing: baby pigeons. No tiny chicks, no fluffy youngsters, only adults. Welcome to the Pigeon Mind. Today, we uncover where the city hides its baby pigeons and why you almost never see them. Stop and think for a moment about all the pigeons you have ever seen in your life. There are thousands of them in every city, on every street, in every single square. They crowd the plazas, line the rooftops, and gather thickly around every dropped crumb. But here is something genuinely strange that you have probably never once noticed. In all those crowds of pigeons, have you ever actually seen a baby one? Not a fluffy chick, not a tiny fledgling, just endless rows of full-grown adults. Every other young animal seems perfectly visible to us: baby birds, ducklings, kittens, and clumsy pups. Yet baby pigeons somehow seem to be completely and utterly absent from the city. It is as if pigeons simply appear, fully formed, out of thin gray air. So where on earth are all the baby pigeons actually hiding from us? This small mystery has a genuinely fascinating answer, hidden high above the busy streets. And once you understand it, you will never see a city pigeon the same way again. The first piece of the puzzle is simply where pigeons choose to raise their young. Remember that city pigeons descend directly from the wild rock doves of remote sea cliffs. Those ancestors nested deep inside cracks and crevices on sheer and inaccessible rock faces. City pigeons kept that exact instinct, seeking out the most hidden possible nooks. To them, our buildings are cliffs, full of perfect dark and sheltered hiding places. They nest under bridges, on hidden ledges, and deep inside forgotten and abandoned roof spaces. They tuck nests into air vents, behind signs, and in abandoned upper floors. These spots are high, dark, sheltered, and almost entirely out of human sight. You walk beneath dozens of active nests every day without ever once knowing. The whole point of these places is that no predator can easily find them. And what hides a nest from a hawk also perfectly hides it from you. So the babies are not absent, they are simply tucked away, high and unseen. The city is full of baby pigeons, all carefully hidden, just out of view. But hidden nests are only the very first part of this remarkable answer. Before any chick appears, the whole quiet story begins with a pair of eggs. A female pigeon usually lays just 2 small white eggs in her hidden nest. The nest itself is famously flimsy, a loose and untidy little platform of twigs. It looks almost careless, yet it is tucked into the safest hidden corner available. Both parents take turns, patiently sitting on the eggs to keep them warm. The father often sits by day, while the mother covers the long, quiet nights. This careful incubation lasts a little under 3 weeks before the eggs finally hatch. Throughout that whole period, the precious eggs are almost never left cold or briefly unattended. This constant care begins the long secrecy that hides the young from the world. When the eggs finally hatch, the truly hidden chapter of their lives begins. And from that first fragile moment, the parents face an enormous feeding challenge, which leads directly to one of the strangest feeding methods in the whole bird world. Because pigeon parents do not simply bring back ordinary worms or seeds for their young. The second piece lies in how pigeon parents feed their tiny newborn chicks. Newly hatched baby pigeons, which are called squabs, are blind, nearly naked, and utterly helpless. A squab cannot leave the nest or even lift its own wobbling head at first, so it stays completely hidden for far longer than most other baby birds. And pigeon parents feed their chicks in a truly extraordinary and unusual way. Both the mother and the father produce a special substance called crop milk. Crop milk is a rich, curd-like food made inside the parent's own throat pouch. It is not milk like a mammal's, but it serves a strikingly similar purpose. Very few birds on Earth can produce anything quite like this remarkable food. The chick pushes its beak deep into the parent's throat to drink it directly. This rich and nourishing food lets the tiny squab grow at an astonishingly rapid pace. Both parents share the feeding, taking turns to nourish their hidden hungry young. The chicks never need to leave the safety of the nest to find their food, so they stay concealed and protected, growing fast, completely out of human view. The third and biggest piece is the sheer length of a baby pigeon's hidden childhood. Most small songbirds leave the nest in just 2 short weeks or so. A baby robin or sparrow is out and about almost before you notice, but a baby pigeon stays hidden in its nest for a remarkably long time. A young pigeon often remains tucked away for around 4 to 6 full weeks. That is 2 to 3 times longer than most other small birds stay. During those long weeks, it does all of its growing completely out of sight. It hides through the awkward stages, the patchy feathers, and the clumsy first movements. By the time it finally leaves the nest, it has changed almost completely beyond recognition. The ugly duckling phase, the part that looks like a baby, happens entirely hidden, so the public never sees the clumsy and vulnerable in-between stages at all. This long and well-hidden childhood is really the beating heart of the entire mystery. The babies exist in huge numbers, but their whole youth is spent in hiding. By the time they finally emerge, the obvious baby stage is essentially already long over. And this leads to the final, and most surprising, twist in the whole story. When a young pigeon finally leaves the nest, it is already nearly adult-sized. By fledging time, it looks almost exactly like every other grown pigeon around. Its body is full-sized, its feathers are grown, and it can already fly. So even when you do see a young pigeon, you simply mistake it for an adult. The babies hide away completely, then emerge already disguised as perfectly ordinary full-grown birds. There are, however, a few subtle clues if you really know where to look. A young pigeon's eye is often darker, a grayish-brown rather than bright orange. Its neck may lack the full shimmering iridescence of a mature adult bird. Its feathers can look slightly fresher, cleaner, and more neatly edged than adults. Its cere, the fleshy patch above the beak, may look smaller and less white. These differences are subtle, and they fade within just a few short weeks. So the window to spot a young pigeon is genuinely narrow and easy to miss. No wonder, then, that the babies seem to vanish into the endless gray crowd. The parents, too, play a quiet and deliberate part in keeping the young hidden. Pigeon parents are also remarkably secretive about revealing the exact location of their hidden nest. They approach the nest carefully, often waiting until no one seems to be watching. They take indirect routes so that no predator can trace them straight back home. This careful secrecy evolved to protect the eggs and the vulnerable young inside. A nest that is easy to find is a nest that is easily raided, so the parents instinctively guard the secret of where their babies are growing. Both parents share the duties of incubating, guarding, and feeding the hidden chicks. This shared devotion gives the young a strong and steady chance at survival. It also means the nest is rarely ever left exposed or fully unattended. Between the hidden location and the careful parents, the young stay truly invisible. The whole system is quietly built to keep those babies safely out of sight. So now the full answer to the mystery finally comes clearly into view. You almost never see baby pigeons for several quiet reasons, all quietly working together at once. First of all, they are born in well-hidden nests, high above the busy streets. Second, they are fed crop milk, so they never leave to forage as babies. Third, they stay hidden for weeks, far longer than most other young birds. And fourth, they only finally emerge once they already look almost exactly like ordinary adults. Add in the secretive parents, and the babies become essentially invisible to us. It is not that they are rare, they are simply and brilliantly hidden. The absence you noticed is really the sign of a wildly successful strategy. Hiding the young so completely is exactly why city pigeons thrive so well. A strategy this effective fooled an entire species that watches them every day. The mystery was never about absence, but about a hidden and patient kind of care. So the next time you pass a flock, look at those pigeons a little differently. Every adult bird there was once a hidden, helpless squab, fed on crop milk. Each one survived weeks, tucked away in some secret ledge above the city. And if you truly want to glimpse the hidden young, you can learn to look. Scan the high ledges, the bridge undersides, and the sheltered nooks above the street. Look for adults, repeatedly flying to the very same concealed and tucked away spot. A parent carrying nesting material or food can quietly give the secret away. And among the adults, search closely for the subtle signs of a younger bird. Look for a darker eye, a duller neck, or unusually fresh and clean feathers. With enough patience, you may finally manage to spot the young bird hiding in plain sight. And in that moment, the long-hidden mystery quietly resolves before your eyes. So the baby pigeons were never truly missing from your busy city at all. They were always here, just carefully hidden through the most vulnerable weeks of life, tucked into the secret cliffs that we rebuilt out of concrete and steel, fed a rich and genuinely rare food by two endlessly patient and devoted parents, growing quietly, in secret, until the very day they could pass as adults. It is not magic, it is not absence, and it is certainly not luck. It is simply an old and brilliant strategy for raising young in a dangerous world, a strategy so quietly effective that it hid an entire generation in plain sight. So I will leave you with one simple thing to go and look for. Find a spot where adult pigeons keep flying to one hidden and tucked away ledge. Watch patiently and see if you can find the signs of a hidden nest. Tell me where you found it and whether you ever glimpsed a younger bird. And tell me what subtle clue finally gave that hidden youngster away to you. Because once you know the secret, an ordinary flock becomes a hidden nursery in the sky.